So in this episode, I'm heading down to Lake Gunnersville in Alabama to meet up with Shane Williams from Yak Addicts, and Gunnersville is probably my favorite lake to fish because it just has huge bass and a lot of them, healthy population of them. And this time of year, the frog bait is usually just on. That's one of my favorite ways to fish for big bass is topwater frog.
Catch Fish or Die Trying is proudly sponsored by Yak Attack, RS Nets, Orion Coolers, Stillwater Outfitters, Yak Addicts, Lake Fork Trophy Lures, The Original Rod Socks, Power Pole Micro Anchor.
So I got down there a little early the first day. Knew I was gonna be waiting on Shane for a little bit because he'll tell you he'll tell you he's gonna be there, and you still gotta wait hours for him usually. So I decided I was gonna go ahead and put the kayak in a few spots that have produced really good fish for me in the past. So they weren't too far from where I was staying. So I figured I'll just head out to one of those spots and start fishing around, and wait for Shane to get there.
Let's see that. How cool is that? Starting now. First Gunnersville fish. Good trick. Little guy. It's cool that I saw him chasing some bait. We were in there on top of him, and I watched him turn around and come grab. Skunk's gone. What's awesome is when you're bringing it in and you see like this giant wake coming from behind it, and you're just like, oh my god, this is gonna happen. Oh, everything.
So I caught a couple little fish while I was waiting for Shane. Nothing big, and really couldn't pattern them. They weren't wanting the frog, which I was a little shocked about. So it was really slow. I mean, I just kept casting after cast after cast. Like it basically just me practicing my casting all day. I mean, it was crazy how slow it was, especially for Gunnersville.
Something little tried to hit it. It must be really little. There's a bunch of them trying to smack it. What is going on, dude? That's a good fish.
So Shane shows up, and I just paddle right over to him. I'm just like, man, we gotta go find another spot because I've been beating that water up. And I hadn't caught much, caught 3 dinks or something. It's like, no, we gotta go find another spot. So we headed out to a couple of the other spots that in the past have produced well for me. And it was tough. It was everything looked great. Conditions were perfect. Water temp was perfect, but they just were not up, and they were not moved up, and they weren't feeding. But we were still feeling pretty confident. Figured we'd put together a good game plan for tomorrow and get out there and get after them. So we wake up. Shane's telling me he's got this place that, you know, some of his buddies were down there just tearing it up from a boat. Like, just, he said it's kind of out a little ways. Like, most people can't get to it. He's like, somehow they got their boat out there, he said, though. So I'm like, all right, man, this sounds good. Like, let's go check it out. You know, if they did get on a boat, we can get back there even further and tear them up in the kayaks. Shane has a tendency to always act like he knows what he's talking about, when in reality, probably 90% of the time, he has no clue what the hell he's talking about. So I'm a little skeptical about this spot he's talking about. And we start going back there, and it just keeps getting shallower and shallower and shallower. And I'm like, Shane, there is no way a boat got back here. Like, what are you doing? He's wanting to just push through this stuff. He ended up having to get out and drag it. And I'm like looking, I can see the road that we put, like, we literally put our kayaks in. Like, if this is the road right here, we put our kayaks in over here and then paddled all the way around and then got to the shallow stuff, and then he was wanting to drag through that to get right back here on the other side of the road. And I was like, Shane, I'm going around, man. I'm going back to the car, and I'm just gonna drag across the road.
Hey, what you guys doing, son? That was working until I tried to keep it. It's gonna keep it. You're gonna pull yourself back now. Oh my god. This is what happens when you follow Shane. This is what happens. Well, something just grabbed him. You feel good about yourself, Shane? Huh? You feel good about yourself? Alright. Is it getting deeper? You probably got like 65 leeches stuck to your feet.
I dragged the kayak across the road and put it on the other side, which is what we should have did to begin with if Shane actually knew where he was going. And I get out there and there ain't nothing going on. Shane's got one little fish, and I'm just like, dude, what the hell? It's like, and this is a little area, like you can only fish it, you know, for an hour and you're done with it. It's like, man, we gotta find something to do because this is not working. We need to get some fish. Like, this is bad. I mean, at this point, I think we've caught like 5 total fish or something in 2 days. And I was like, we gotta come up with a plan B.
So we had to push through some extremely thick grass and mats. Well, we got into a little back cove, and as soon as we got in here, the bite's finally starting to pick up. So we'll get back on that frog bite.
So we got out of there, pulled over on the side of the road, and I get on Google Earth and I'm just like looking for anything, something that looks like it's unpressured, just anything. And I'm just kind of following the perimeter of the lake, and I see this other body of water like 15 minutes away, and I'm like, what is this? I start looking at that, and it's another little lake. I mean, it's a little lake though. It's only like 300 some acres or something. So I call. They're like, oh yeah, like our bass are only a year and a half old. And I'm like, man, there's not gonna be any big fish in there. They're like, oh no, they're growing really quick. We got 4.5 pounders already. The lake record's like almost 5. I was like, man, it don't sound too bad. Better than what we are catching. So we decided to just go head out there and check it out. And
been fishing all day. It's been really tough. Finally got the skunk out the boat. Just a little dink, but it was good to catch some. Man, it's been tough. Still not getting on any really good fish, but starting to find them. Bites have been real few and far between, but at least we're starting to catch some fish.
you know, the guys at the marina are telling us fish shallow. Like the one side of the lake's everything's shallow. They're telling us to just fish it shallow and just like slow roll like worms and stuff through there. That's what I was doing, and I think I caught a couple little fish, nothing special, and it just wasn't on. Like they were acting like that lake was fired. I'm just like, man, like I ain't getting nothing. The whole time I keep looking over at the deeper side of the lake, and I see all these nice lay downs and just like brush piles and like stuff what I'm used to fishing, and it looks really jiggy. I'm like, I need to go over there and just start flipping the jig and just fish how I know how to fish. That's what I gotta do. Like, sure enough, about 5-10 minutes, and I hook up the first fish. It's decent, like 14-15 incher, really chunky, really strong fish too. And then I just kept working that jig, and as it got later in the day, I just started tearing them up. Like, I mean, I just started crushing them. It was insane. Like it felt like every 5 minutes I had another fish on.
Been out here struggling a little bit. Decided to slow it down and go back to what I know. I'm a huge jig guy. Love throwing black and blue flipping jig with a crawl trailer. So tied her on, and in just a couple minutes, got a nice little chunk. Hoping we can find some bigger ones, but it's just fun being out on the water. There's a bite. Fish on. Oh yeah! Another nice little chunk. Slammed the jig. She choked it. But yeah, these fish are strong. Strong little chunky fish.
Chunky. On top of the mouth. Stomach on those though.
Just got another little 16 incher. She got a little humpback on her. But yeah, another one choking the jig. They're loving this jig. It's black and blue jig right now. Tearing it up. Crazy how she's shaped. This bass got scoliosis, Shane. This bass got scoliosis. Oh yeah.
Bite's definitely starting to pick up as the sun goes down. Fishing around some structure. This, not a giant, but good Lord, it tugged. It had me flying around this little lake. Joe thought I was hung up. I thought I was for a second. So strong.
Probably had you around one of those logs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are strong in here. Check that monster out. So, I pull up alongside Shane. We're bull. Throw my jig out in front of him. As it's in the air, I'm like, hey Shane, I'm about to steal this fish from out in front of you. Hits the water, let it sink. So this little guy trying to chew it down, you know, really had to work on getting that down its throat, but I straight called it. How you feel about that, Shane?
I think that one counts for me.
We can give him the assist.
I'm taking a 6. Give me 0.5 on that.
I mean, it's giant.
That's strong, dude. Oh, watch the shotgun, dude. He's small, but good lord, man. I swear. Like each time I'm thinking, all right, this one for sure is the one. Then it'll be something like that.
If you're addicted to kayak fishing, make sure you check out yakaddictsgear.com to rep your addiction.
Man, it's a fun little lake. There might be one way up on the bank. I've got a feeling. Man, I just knew that just looked fishy. You ain't that big. Tell you what, that ain't bad though either. They fight, these fish in here. It's crazy though, even when you're holding them, they're just solid little fish. Like they are just full of muscle. Man, all ready for this right here? Just kidding. Oh, okay, that was a mistake. I was like, really? Like that about to just happen? We ain't even caught anything big, Shane, and this is like 100 times better than yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
No big fish, but we're catching fish.
Oh yeah. Solid fish though. No giants, but they're chunks.
Not as solid as you can get it.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't that right, Shane?
That's right.
Ain't that right?
Yes. Hey, boy.
Jig putting in work today.
Every single fish been on jig or spinnerbait.
You know what I'm saying? My favorite way to catch bass, probably topwater frog, but when that ain't working, jig my second favorite. I just love flipping in the timber like this.
Yeah. I can get with that.
Flipping in them laydowns. Flipping and pitching. Is that right, Shane?
Flipping in the pitching, flipping in the pitching.
Is that right, Shane? Is that right?
Yeah. As far as I know.
Oh, yeah. That's a little better. Yep. Shoot. Oh, dude. Yeah. Yes. Yes. That is more like it.
Awesome.
Tell you, not a huge fish, but I'll take a fish like that all day. Man, these fish are strong. Come on. Oh! Yes! There we go. Well, that jig is just lighting them up. Crazy. This thing swam up and grabbed it. Found a thud, nothing, let it sink again. She slammed it. Turned on it hard. Man, literally this jig, they can't, holy crap is this fish strong. I don't think she's that big. That was a good one. Another probably 17. Another quality one. Good Lord, are they strong. She's still trying to fight me. Man, it is on fire right now. Jig bite. These little chunks are just absolutely choking it. Man, probably got about half hour before dark, and it really turned on good.
Welcome to Stillwater Outfitters.
Located in Yurtsville, Ohio. God, is this fish strong? Good Lord. Holy, dude, this fish is a beast. Yep. He's swirling like crazy. Oh my God. Oh, yes. Another, I'm calling that's a 4. 17 3/4. Shit. I can't hit 18, man. I'm trying so hard. Bruh, I mean, I don't know. We could wear. We're gonna wear. That is a freaking chunk. Like I'm holding this fish. It don't look like I'm holding a 17 3/4 inch fish. Look at that gut.
That gut is huge.
Look at that. We're gonna put her on the scales. She don't break 3. I don't even know who I am. Never weighed a fish this small, I can tell you that much. Three two. 3-2. Ain't bad. Ain't 4. Look at that gut though, man. Damn. Holy crap.
That's an awesome fish.
I mean, dude, fighting that fish was like fighting a legit 6-pounder. Like, I'm not even bullshitting you. It was, dude, you should have seen my front end of my boat just whipping around. It's crazy.
So that little lake literally pretty much saved the trip. I mean, it was awesome. Like nonstop action for probably, once they turned on, they were on for about 3 hours, and it was just nonstop catching. And then we wanted to head back to the main lake though the next morning and just try to get one of those big Gunnersville fish.
Just had a little chunk and hail the speed worm. It's a nice weed bed out here. Just kind of ripping it through it all. Knew eventually I'd get one doing that, but it's a healthy little fish.
All right. Finally starting to see a little bit better size out here. We found this big flat. It's got some grass growing on the bottom, probably 10 foot deep. So I started ripping through the grass with a rattle trap, and they'll pick it up once you rip out of the grass. They'll snag it. Let this girl go and see if we can get her mama.
So, even though wasn't quite what I expected, because I was expecting to go down there and just rip these fish all day long on topwater frog like last year. That's what I was expecting. Even though wasn't quite what I expected, I still had a blast, and being able to find some fish somewhere else and get them on a different bite, like on the jig bite, and being able to like improvise like that. That's what it's all about. I mean, that's what fishing is. You got to be able to adapt to what's going on, and you know what they're feeding on, and you know if you can't just have a set plan, you got to be able to change it up and call an audible if you got to, and that's what we had to do, and it worked, and we had a blast. It was I can't wait to go back. I'm hoping next time I come back that topwater frog bite's on, but we'll see.